Hey, what's going on, you guys? It is me, Brother Micah, um, Israelite gamer. I run the channel Black Rice Gaming and a few other things, right? Of course, as an Israelite, my whole life is dedicated to waking up my people, the so-called Negroes, to their true identity and inspiring them to come back and keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of our God. That being said, uh, you know, I don't just spread the gospel all the time. Well, I do, but I do it leisurely when I'm gaming, and I also do it, hardcore when I'm on the road or when I'm teaching lessons as well. Why do I bring this up? I bring this up because I saw a video the other day that I had to comment on. Usually, I just watch these videos and let them kind of do their thing um, without speaking. Because I already realized that the video game industry is an industry that is geared towards so-called white men, okay, who are Edomites. All right. In this industry, 70% of the gamers are white men. And so anybody doing business is going to target um, these this majority, you understand, in order to get their sales quickly and easily. And so the other 30% of gamers, of which I am a part, um, basically mostly get ignored. Okay, you only have a few companies that whose games are built in such a way to allow um, gamers like myself who are non-white, okay, to fully um, express themselves and engage in games because these games are built around white male middle-aged power fantasies. Okay, that's the elephant in the room. Here it is, right? Anyway, I don't really care, to be honest. They can keep doing what they're doing because they got to run their business. But my job is always to give my people insight into what's going on and to address garbage when I see it. So, this is actually one of my favorite guys to watch on YouTube. This guy named Asmon. I just think he's hilarious and hits a lot of things on nails on the head. But this time around, I think he just went in over his head. So I want to address a couple of the things that he says. Um, because he he is part of the 70%, right? The gaming majority, right? The colonizer, man. The Edomites, man. The people who run the world. And so, certain things he just cannot see because it's not his lived experience. Okay. So I'm gonna address a few things that he and I believe this other guy said. Um, that's just off. Okay. So let me see if I can find it and I'll make this as quick as possible.
It's like a I'm trying to think of he started saying I as an individual.
So in this video, they're talking about DEI, right? DEI hires, which I don't believe in. Okay, people should be hired upon merit, not on the fact that, they're black or white or gay or whatever, straight or whatever. People should be hired on merit, period. Okay, but because the world is colonized, okay, um, you find a lot of spaces where it's just mostly white people because so-called white people, Edomites, because they have access um, to these places that is either handed down to them or they have other accesses that makes it a lot easier for them to get access to these particular spaces. Again, I don't care. I understand that that's how the world is. I believe in us creating our own spaces, our own businesses, doing our own things. However, we are in a spiritual battle, we so-called Negroes. So the things that Negroes do um, will not succeed until they return to their God. That's when they can start to actually see success. That's when they can actually start to create powerful um, art and so on and so forth, and not just stuff that makes us look like buffoons, or COONS's, you understand? Or just confused people, right? But that being said, let's hear what they have to say here, and I'll see if I can touch a couple of the points.
Realized these webinars were not mandatory. I was attending these webinars because I thought I was supposed to. One of the earlier webinars, the topic was know your privilege. It was for us to understand that our coworkers might not have lived as privileged of a life as we have. This webinar literally promoted prejudice by default.
I think that's exactly what this is. I think that 95% of this is just straight up promoting prejudice and discrimination. And I don't even think it's 95%. It's more like 99. I think that there are like very narrow like instances where things that are DEI initiatives could actually have a positive benefit and could be, uplifting in a way. But in almost all of these circumstances, I feel like they're just people that are really just bigoted and discriminatory that want to canonize that into the rules.
This is one of the first things I want to address. This is a so-called white man who has colonized the entire world, who has destroyed entire communities and nations and peoples. Okay? And this man has the heart to open his mouth and call somebody bigoted. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Edomites are lucky that people don't just like off them everywhere they see them. You understand? I mean, not only are they lucky, they kind of organize things in such a way to pacify people so they don't do that. Now, I'm not advocating for violence against anyone. The time for violence is by the hand of the Most High God when He returns and His people when He returns, not a moment before. But for this guy to have the heart to call people bigoted, like that is insane. Okay, let me pull up the meaning of this word, okay? A person who is obstinately or unreasonably attached to a belief, opinion, or faction, especially one who is prejudiced against or antagonistic towards a person or people on the basis of their membership of a particular group. So, for example, if you just don't like Edomites, the man's calling you bigoted. Well, let me ask you a question. If somebody comes to your land, right, kills your relatives, takes your land, names it something else, creates laws to say that war is one of the ways that they can take land from you, and then put you in places in your land that they decide to put you, and you don't like them because they did that, what's wrong with that again? I mean, people don't like people at work because they're a-holes to them. So imagine you're an a-hole to somebody's entire nation, You don't think that there's gonna be people that just don't like you because of what you've done? Like, I'm not surprised that Asmon is this blind. He's an Edomite, okay? Their culture teaches them this blindness as they grow up as children, from children coming up. It teaches them this kind of blindness, okay? Because the entire of uh, democracy, this entire socio-political system is built on a white supremacy. You understand? So, a so-called white person, an Edomite, cannot see these things. Some will, but many just they cannot see it. You can only see so far when you're looking um, from a position of power. You understand? It just is what it is, you know? Edomites like to fancy themselves the eagle because they fly high and they can see a large expanse. They can surveil, right? I mean, in the Bible, it literally tells you that the evil kingdom that will rule the world at the end of the world is represented by the eagle. So I don't know why they think it's a good thing. They're just selling themselves out that they are the evil kingdom that God was talking about. In any case, an eagle can't see what's happening underground. An eagle still has blind spots, just like any animal looking up has blind spots as well. You understand? So for this guy to talk about somebody being bigoted, that's absolutely insane, right? If anybody does not particularly like Edomites, they have every reason to. Edomites have absolutely destroyed the world. Them and their uh, so-called democracy, which is actually demonocracy, have utterly destroyed the world. Colonization and imperialism, you know, that they practice has utterly destroyed the world. The people, their minds, their spirits, and um, the natural resources of the planet, the cycles even of the planet, man. So I don't know what like Asmon's way over his head on this one. Okay. Let me see what else I can touch.
When I look at my coworkers, I assume they are just as educated as me, maybe even more educated, depending on their position. And whatever challenges in life they had, it shouldn't matter because everybody has challenges in their life. As a
Yeah.
Muslim, I believe that every single person is tested and challenged. We all have tests and challenges that vary according to our capability. Some people's challenges are more difficult than others, but the reason why those people's challenges are more difficult is because those people are stronger and are capable of taking on those challenges. The larger the challenge, the more we grow once we get through those
Sure.
challenges.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe in. I should not look at my coworker and say, okay, this guy's black, he must be uneducated, and he grew up in the ghetto.
Yeah. Of
That
course.
is literally
It's
racist
racist.
for me to look down on him
Yeah.
and think that. Victim Olympics is not
Yeah. It's oppression Olympic stereotyping. What they're doing is they're creating reverse stereotypes and then they're turning it into the policy.
a productive conversation.
What? I'm not even gonna comment, man, because that was just drivel. Okay. You have a so-called European, an Edomite, okay, and a so-called this guy is probably could be an Edomite or a so-called Arab, which is an Ishmaelite, talking about how people have challenges based on their strength. Okay. That's somewhat true because literally we are the strongest people on the planet as Negroes. And so we have the greatest challenge. We have the greatest challenge because the Bible teaches that the Most High made the world for our sake. And he gave us the leadership of the world and the ability to teach the world everything that they needed to know. But guess what we did? We went and followed other people, right? And so all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the understanding that we had that began with spirituality, we lost, man. You understand? And Asmongold's people took us into slavery. This guy's people also took us into slavery. You understand? The trans-Saharan slave trade was not Africans, those were Israelites. The transatlantic slave trade, that was not Africans, those were Israelites being sold. Our people, the ancestors of the so-called Negro, right? Um, so, he has a point in the strength portion, but this reverse, um, what's he calling it? Reverse stereotyping. That's a bag of stupidness, man. That's absolute garbage. Okay, and it doesn't exist. If somebody, let me tell you what the Most High God teaches, the true black God of the Bible teaches. You have friends and you have enemies. Enemies show themselves to be enemies, and friends show themselves to be friends. And when you see the movements of an enemy, you better believe that they are your enemy. And when you see the movement of a friend, you better believe that they are your friends. Now, people will say, oh, the Bible says love your enemies. That was never talking about um, people of other nations. In fact, that scripture was taken from the book of Numbers. Um, is it chapter 11? 19. Leviticus 19, from 17 onwards. And he was talking. This is where the New Testament got that verse from. So the same people that they were talking to in the Old Testament, it meant the same thing in the New Testament. The so-called New Testament is just Christ, the Messiah, the true black Messiah, giving a proper understanding of what is going on in the scriptures, in the Old Testament. So there's no new thing um, in the New Testament as far as, changing of the standards of God's laws. Okay? The only things that changed in the New Testament are the things that God said was going to change. All right? Which is not doing animal sacrifices anymore. But when he said, love your neighbor as yourself, look what he was talking about. From 17, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Okay? Don't hate your brother. And that heart means mind. Okay? Because in a few places in the scriptures it says, oh, he thought in his heart. You don't use your heart to think, you use your mind. Okay? The Bible is written in code. And Isaiah 28 verse 9 to 10 tells you how to decode the scriptures, okay? And it's by going scripture to scripture, using other scriptures to see what scriptures mean. That's how you decode it, not by just sitting and thinking about it, okay? Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise do what? rebuke your neighbor. Who is your neighbor? Your brother, man, and not suffer sin against him. And then it says, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against who? The children of thy people. Don't avenge and don't bear any grudge against who? The children of your people, man. You see that? But you shall do what? Love your neighbor as yourself. I am Yahweh. So when the Most High told the Israelites to love your neighbor as yourself, he wasn't talking about other people. You understand? So this idea that you're supposed to go around here loving all the people that have destroyed your people is complete folly and is half the reason that our people are still destroyed today. They're still begging for the approval of other people when what they really should be doing is getting closer to their God. Number one, living by his rules, the spiritual laws that he gave us. Number one, and then loving their people just like they love themselves. Okay, so let's keep going. I'll probably address one or two other things because I don't want to make this video too long. All right. And for the people who are going to argue this in the comment section, whether you're whatever race you are or religion or creed, I mean, I really don't care about your opinion, right? These are the facts, okay, based on the scriptures, which is actually the spiritual law that governs this reality. So whether you believe me or not, it really doesn't matter. So save your breath, okay? You're not gonna change my mind, um, and you certainly are not gonna change the minds of anybody who is already able to see that this is what's going on in the world. Okay, spiritually minded people. Okay, who the Most High has chosen. So don't waste your breath.
To have. I'm Arab. The FBI tapped my phone in the early 2000s. Patriot Act. I had it
Sure.
rough. Victim Olympics and trying to see who had it worse is not a productive conversation. So whichever end it is,
Yeah, victim Olympics don't even have that conversation. We already know who had it the worst. It's the people that were destroyed by yokes of iron put upon their neck, okay, and taken across the world, okay, and put into slavery under literally everyone. Negro slaves were everywhere. I saw another video where a Japanese, another video of Asmon's where a Japanese person was trying to say there wasn't slavery in Japan. Are you kidding me, buddy? I have a friend on here who has entire video series talking about the slaves that were sent over to the East. The Bible itself tells you there isn't a nation that hasn't abused his people. So he's right. Having that conversation is irrelevant. Don't have this conversation. I'm talking to you, Negroes. Do not have these conversations with people that are not your people. You're wasting your breath. Let them think what they want to think. Let them say what they want to say. Just keep doing you.
whether it is to make myself feel higher and mighty than others.
Yeah, sorry. By the way, you know, anyway, I think I made it pretty clear. Okay? The people who have it the worst are the people who are still being killed every day by police, and there's nothing to stop it. It's the people that, what, maybe 2 years ago, it became illegal to lynch them only 2 years ago. It's the people that call the police, and when they call the police go to their houses and kill them. That's who has it the worst. There's people that have it the worst and people that have it the best. And these guys, they have it the best. And we Negroes, we Israelites, have it the worst. Those are the facts. Okay? So let's move on.
Other people and look down at those who have it worse than me, that itself is racist. But then the other way around, get myself on the bottom of the totem pole, that's a victim mentality. And that's a terrible mindset to embrace. So both ends of the spectrum are terrible.
This guy needs to shut the hell up. Talking about a victim mentality. Reality is reality. If you have been victimized, you have the right to express that you've been victimized. You understand what I'm saying? You have the right to react to that victimization. What is this guy talking about? Again, these guys are lost in the sauce because they can't relate. They haven't been victimized, man. You understand what I'm saying? Their people are not victimized people. You understand what I'm saying? It's only now that the so-called Arabs are trying to get basically their payback from the Most High God at the hand of the Edomite, which is the so-called white man. You understand? So this business of talking about, oh, that's a victim mentality, like shut the hell up, buddy. You understand? There are victims and there are victimizers. Okay? And let's prove that. Okay? This guy's just killing me, man. Look what the Most High says that the wicked of the earth um, say in their mind, okay? Where is it? The ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy, neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. For we are born at all. You hear what they say? When you die, there's no remedy and nobody comes back from the grave, right? I'm gonna get straight to the point. Here's some of the things that the wicked say. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us seek tokens of our joyfulness in every place. This is our portion and our lot is this. Because they believe, again, nothing happens after you die. So let's just be joyful and get the best that we can get right now. Listen to this. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. So the wicked have in their mind to oppress the poor righteous man. If the wicked have in their mind to oppress the poor righteous man, who's the victim here? The wicked? Get it together. Well, don't get it together, actually. But I'm just telling you, you brothers and sisters out here, um, hey, listen, man. This guy has no clue what he's talking about. Okay? There are victims, okay? And there are victimizers, and that's reality. Don't come and tell nobody about a victim mentality. Recognize that you've been victimized, and guess what? Stop trying to beg. Go and do your own thing. Go back to your own lands. Go back to nature, right? Go build your own companies. You understand? And do things for your people, just like everybody else does things for their people. You understand? At the end of the day, again, this industry is not for you 30%. It's not for you. It's for Edomites, so-called white people. That's who it's for. You understand? So don't try to force your way in. Just do you. But but for you to do you, you have to know yourself. And guess what? You'll never learn about yourself going to your oppressor's school. This is the knowledge that you need. The Bible is Black history. That's what it is, a book of Black history. It's not a religious book for the world. These guys are already sitting and standing in their power. Their power is to sell, deceive, trick, steal, and so on and so forth. right? And create all these mediums and give you the impression that it's all for one and one for all. That's their work. They do it perfectly because they have their foundation. The foundation of the Edomite, the so-called white man, is uh wickedness, man. Anything that has to do with wickedness, magician, dragon, um, 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 uh, 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 sexual immorality, he loves it. Cursing and swearing, that's what he does. That's what he adds to the world. You have different things to add to the world. But if you don't know yourself, you're just gonna add the same thing he's adding, and guess what? He doesn't need you, right? Let's keep going.
We all have challenges, but at the same time, we all have things that we can be.
Each person is an individual, and whenever you attribute somebody's individual lived experience to the experience average of a group, you are dehumanizing that person and you're treating them with disrespect. I think that you should treat everybody the way that you want to be treated and be respectful with them and approach them in good faith. And if you do that, you're never going to have any problems with anybody.
Um, yes, you should deal with everyone respectfully and in good faith, but the promise that if you do that, you'll never have any problems with anybody, that's complete garbage.
Like that, it's never, you're like maybe
Like the natives approached in good faith and they got destroyed. Okay. Um, uh, who was it? Saul had a Edomite, okay? A so-called white man working for him in the temple. No one would kill the high priests, but this Edomite would. So the Most High says in the scriptures, um, beware of your friends and separate yourself from your enemies. Okay? So again, don't take advice from these guys. These guys are spiritually inept, and the world is built on spiritual principles. God said is one set of people that's supposed to teach you spiritually. And you can find it in Psalm 147, verse 19 and 20. And it's the Israelites, people like me. That's who you learn from spiritually, you so-called Negroes. You understand? And you other nations who are humble enough to recognize what's really going on. Okay? So let's move on.
there's going to be a crazy person twice in your life that this is an issue with. Other than that, you're never going to have this issue.
Grateful for. What was very bizarre about this Know Your Privilege webinar, some of the employees were so brainwashed that they wanted to sacrifice themselves in front of the altar. There was a good number of people who raised their hand on Zoom, then they got the chance to speak, and then they started saying, I understand I'm privileged in this and privileged in that, and they were basically spilling their white guilt. Like I said before, this promotes the mentality.
And the problem is that there's an element of truth to this, like, in the way that, for example, like slavery was affected and how people obviously like civil rights weren't really that long ago. And so there are instances of this being legitimate, right? But the problem is that you can't apply a historical context to a modern person and say you have to live based off of what happened 70 years ago.
This is the point that had made me have to do this video. Asmongold believes that you can rape, rob, and steal, and over time, everyone just has to forget about it, including the victims. You know what that's called? Stockholm Syndrome. And that's what most Negroes have today. They don't remember the evil that was done to them. So they set themselves up to get more evil done to them. That's called Stockholm Syndrome. Okay? You're not getting a pass. You don't get it from God. So I, as one of the people of God and one of his representatives and one of the victims of your colonization, um, I'm not gonna give you a pass because my God doesn't give you a pass, right? Watch this. Um, God remembers the sins of your fathers. That's why we so-called Negroes are in such a bad state right now, right? The Most High remembers the sins of your fathers and will pay you for them, right? One second. This is it. Isaiah 14 and verse 21. This is talking about Nebuchadnezzar at the time, but it is also prophetically talking about the nation of America or the empire of America. It says, and Edomites, man, right? It says, prepare slaughter for his children. Why? For the iniquity of their fathers, man. In another place, God tells you, even with his own people, he said, because you forgot my commandments, I'm also going to forget your children. I'll bring that up. It says, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor do what? Fill the face of the world with cities, man. That's the ambition of the Edomite man, of the so-called European. It is to fill the face of the earth with damn cities. That's why he's always building. I mean, today, Ford, you know, promised $1 billion to one of the construction unions here in our city of Toronto, man. You know, there's no escape. The Most High remembers, right? There's gonna be a slaughter prepared for the so-called Europeans, children, man, by the hand of the Most High God and his saints at the time of his return. You know, here's where he tells the Israelites, I will also forget your children. Hosea 4 and 6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I will also reject you as my priests. Seeing you have forgotten the law of your God, I will also forget your children, man. I mean, that's plain, right? The Most High also says, remember the days of old. Deuteronomy 32 and 7. Remember the days of old, consider the years long past. Ask your father, and he will tell you your elders, and they will inform you. So the Most High is not about forgetting, he's about remembering. You understand? And he remembers everything that the Edomite and everything that the Ishmaelite or Edomite, whichever one he is, did to his people. And he's gonna repay them. So what this guy is saying is complete foolishness.
That's the problem that I think a lot of these people are having. And that's where the disconnect comes in. It's that people constantly want everybody to live in the context of events that they were not even alive for. And I think that really,
You see that? Taking no responsibility, but the benefits, though. Taking no responsibility, but the benefits. That is colonizer 101. This is why God has to destroy this kingdom. This is why they're sinking right now. This is why he tells you he's going to obliterate every single one of them from the face of the planet, brothers and sisters. Okay? Do not join yourselves to these people. Separate yourself spiritually from all people. Come and love your God and come and love your people. Okay? I think that's enough of that. Like, this guy has no clue what he's talking about. And he's in way over his head. Okay? And some of the things I said today might sound strange to you because you're in the matrix. I'm out of the matrix. I'm way past you know, taking the damn red pill, man. You understand what I'm saying? All praise to the Most High. At this point, I'm dodging bullets spiritually, right? And that's the level you need to get on, or you're not gonna make it through this next stage, to the fall of America, man, to the fall actually of the Babylonian kingdom headed by America. You're not gonna make it, right? So I make this video not for these guys. I hope they don't even respond, because I really don't care about these guys. I watch Asmon for entertainment. Um, I'm a gaming fan, so I have my own critical thoughts concerning gaming. But beyond that, I don't care whether he lives or dies. Okay? Uh, let him do him, right? And I'm gonna do me. And what I need to do is show you guys what's really going on out here using the videos like this. Okay, so I'm gonna continue doing stuff like that. Uh, if you guys enjoyed the video or you found it helpful, definitely uh give it a like and share it with another so-called Negro because we need to band together and we need to come back to our God and get ourselves right first spiritually, and then everything else is gonna fall in place. All right. With that, all praise to the Most High. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.